A jigsaw is definitely a handy tool to have around. It can cut curves, get into awkward places, and can be used on wood, metal, perspex, and plastics. I'll give you a rundown of the tool to help you choose the right one for you and show you how to use it safely. There's a range of jigsaws available, so to narrow down your choice, think about the type of job you'll be using it for and what sort of material you'll be cutting. For example, if you'll be cutting metal, you probably want a more powerful motor like this one here. It's got an 18 to 36 volt battery, and at 3500 revs, it's going to do the job nicely. There's your good old corded models like this. Great if you're using it for an extended period of time, as you won't run out of battery. Nice and handy to have in a workshop situation. But these days, battery models have just as much power. They're more portable, there's no lead to get in the way, and if you're building up a tool collection, you can use the battery on other tools in the same range. Other differences come down to things like maximum RPMs or more speed functions. Some saws also come with a variety of handy accessories like a dust extractor, it just clips on, and an anti-scratch pad, or a cutting guide. Now let's take a closer look at one. Jigsaws pretty much work all in the same way. Here's your trigger, and this is your safety lock-off button. You push that in here for your safety switch.
The safety switch must be held down for the saw to work.
When running, the blade moves up and down to cut, and you can adjust its speed by turning this dial. On some models, you can adjust the cutting action. For example, with the orbital or pendulum feature, instead of it just going up and down, the blade will move in a circular orbital motion to speed up your cutting. You can adjust that here. But just a note, never cut metal or hardwoods with this feature on. It's only for softwoods and plastics. When it comes to blades, there are different blades for different materials, and they also vary in terms of how fine a cut you're after. Basically, the more teeth, the finer the cut you'll get.
Changing your blade is easy. Remove the battery or unplug your saw, hold the blade release button, take out your old blade and simply install the new one.
Before we get cutting, here's a few important safety tips. Always use eye and ear protection. Always clamp your material down with enough clearance underneath for the blade to do its job. Like any power tool, wait for the blade to start moving before cutting. Don't force the tool, let the blade cut at its own speed. Always wait for the blade to stop before you remove it from the timber. After cutting, don't touch the blade, it'll be pretty hot. Always have electric tools tested and tagged, and if you're working outside, use an RCD. Now, the beauty of the jigsaw is that unlike a circular saw, you can cut pretty much whatever shape you like.
If you want to cut a hole in the middle of a board, use a drill to make some holes slightly wider than the blade, then make your cut. It's always best to do a test cut before you start cutting to make sure you have the right combination of speed setting, oscillation, and the right blade for the job. If you're after a clean or precise cut, always turn the oscillation way down or off.
If you do require a straight cut, simply pop the guide on to help you out.
You can also make a circle by rotating the wood. To cut on an angle, simply loosen the foot plate, tilt it to the angle you need, and lock it off, then cut. When cutting metal, clamp the sheet to some timber. This will help stop the metal from tearing and vibrating, and make sure you've got the correct blade for the job. If you're cutting perspex, use a plate protector so you don't scratch the surface. If you don't have one, just apply some masking tape to the bottom of the plate. Turn your speed level down low and clamp down a piece of timber to keep your material steady.
There we go. Now that you know a little bit more about jigsaws, it should make your choice a whole lot easier. So head into store and grab the right one for you.
If you like what you've seen, subscribe to the Mitre 10 YouTube channel for more handy content, or click here to watch some now.